Good evening and welcome to another episode of What's Your Story? Tonight we are sitting down with Tom Marcisso, who works for the school district and a whole lot more. We don't know a whole lot about you, Tom, so we are so thrilled to have you sit in the hot seat tonight and just get to know you a little bit better. So we usually start by asking our guests where you grew up, how you got here. So
Sure.
take it away.
First of all, I'm very, very thrilled to be here myself, too. I really have been looking forward to this. I grew up in Portland, working class section of Portland, Munjoy Hill,
Yeah.
on the eastern side of the city. Went and graduated from Portland High School back in 1979. When all my friends went off to college and I decided that it really wasn't for me, I was looking for my spot and looking for my place and decided that I would check out the military.
Okay.
And I was going down with a buddy who was checking out the Air Force. I had no intentions of signing up that day. He didn't, but I did.
Oh, wow.
And so I joined the Air Force towards the end of 1979 and spent 21 years in the Air Force and retired here to Kennebunk
Wow.
about
So
23 years ago.
what brought you to Kennebunk? Was there childhood times that you were here or, besides being in Portland, but...
It's really funny you mention that because growing up in Portland, I said, way out in Kennebunk.
Yeah.
Scarborough was a big trip back then. But my wife had some friends here. She had a girlfriend here, and we took a look at the spot. Knew the school system was a really good school system,
Yeah.
and still is.
Yeah.
We found a little piece of land that they were building a house, and decided to check it out.
Wow, that's great. Well, and we are so we're fortunate to have you in this community because you do a lot for our students. Can you talk a little bit about your position in the school district?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I was originally a FedEx driver after I retired from the military, and that wasn't really fair to my wife because of the long hours that I was spending with small children.
Aren't you glad you're not doing that now with all the...
Yes, yeah. Although I enjoyed it at the time, but it wasn't fair.
Amazon, though, has changed the game a
Yes,
little
it
bit.
has. Yes, it really has. So I was looking for something else, and I was contacted by Dr. Crowley to become a substitute teacher. And I said, I'll give it a try. And that was, 13, 14 years ago. And from there, I was asked to become a special education ed tech, or educational technician, helping out here at Consolidated School.
Yeah.
And I liked it. I enjoyed it. The hours were a lot better. The pay actually wasn't, but that's okay.
You get your rewards in other ways.
That's right. And I really enjoyed it, and I decided to go back to school to get my teaching degree. So I received I was an ed tech for about 4 years, and went out and received my special education certificate and became a special education teacher.
Which is not for everyone. So, and just watching you with the students, you really have a gift. So we're very glad that you found that path.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And it is a tough job. My kids will often say to me, Dad, you didn't have that patience with us.
It's because they're not your kids, right? I think we always have patience with. So what does your typical day look like?
My typical day with the job that I have now at Kennebunk High School is I'll start about 7, and I work with primarily upperclassmen. And this year the state of Maine came up with something new. Students that weren't quite ready to go out on their own yet were given some extra time to prepare. So we now have students that are possibly 19, 20, up to 22. So my caseload will include some older students, preparing them for what's next, be it a group home or be it a sometimes a trade, sometimes community college, sometimes work. The value of work for these students, when you see them on their own performing work, is just amazing.
There's your paycheck.
There's your paycheck, exactly right there. They learn skills, and we concentrate on their abilities instead of things that they might not be able to do.
Right.
And they feel better about themselves. And as you said, it is rewarding to see.
So you're taking them to their success, to their success levels.
Yeah.
And so do you get in touch with businesses to take them on?
Very much so. I work with an educational technician in Ed Tech 3, and she'll go out and job coach at different places in the community. We work with both nonprofits and for-profit businesses, some places like a supermarket here locally. I'm not sure if I can mention it, so
You're welcome to.
Okay. Well, Hannaford's has been very, very helpful for us. We work with them. We'll work with a community cares closet, which is a place where people donate clothes, and we'll have students fold and separate and sort.
That's great.
Things like that. So we do we also prepare them for work too, which I think is fantastic, because we want them to be successful. We want them to have the customer service skills. We want them to be able to know how important it is to be punctual, how important it is to be clean when they go into a facility that has customers. And so we work on those types of, we call them soft skills.
Which are also life skills that we all should learn.
Absolutely.
Being punctual, being clean.
Absolutely.
But that's really important. And how does it work when they are sort of, they've left the nest, so to speak? Do you still follow up with some of those families, or?
We work very closely with places like Strive and other places, agencies like that, to try to find the right fit for students and for young people, so they can have the independence that they're capable of, but also get that support. We're trying as best we can to make them ready for what's next. And it's when you see students that you've worked with, and I'm at the point now where I'm starting to see a couple out on their own, they are just so proud. And and when you hear from parents, that's even more rewarding.
Yes, yeah.
Because they're getting a better life than, honestly, what some of them thought they could.
Right. So how many people are on your team at school?
Well, we have a big group of special educators. We have quite a few, but I work with an educational technician and myself, and she's a job coach. She's very, very good with the kids as well. And we'll work with them whether they go to a vocational school half day or whether they'll go to job training. We'll provide them assurance and try to give them confidence and try to give them some tips. But then as they get more confident and as they get into a flow, we'll kind of fade back and let them take on more and more of their job. Yeah. And eventually what we can do is we can actually have them become employed by that company. Okay. A lot of times we work with vocational rehab and they'll get paid through that program. Yeah. But then once they have the skills and they're out and they're working directly for that job. It's a process, and it doesn't always go as quickly as it should, but when it does, it's very rewarding.
But you all seem to be, you're very dedicated to helping these students succeed.
Well,
so that's you. And I see it with a few of the students that visit the library, and it's pretty remarkable. So
well, thank you.
And your kids are wrong. You do have a lot of patience. So speaking of your kids, so how many?
They're all adults now, pretty
Okay.
much, but I have a 28-year-old daughter
Okay.
and a 24-year-old daughter who are both teachers.
Oh.
One is a music teacher in Massachusetts, down
Yeah.
towards the Cape. She loves it. She teaches elementary music.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have a 24-year-old daughter who teaches 5th grade up in Freiburg.
Okay.
And I have a son who says, "No way, Dad, I'm not teaching." But he's going to support us all. He is now working as a plumber after just recently graduated.
Wow, there we go.
Yeah,
So
from
does
Southern
he?
Maine Community College.
I'll tell you that I talked to somebody that recently that has been. He's been working as a firefighter, and he's going back to school to become an electrician. And I said, "How smart are you?"
Yeah.
So I think we definitely need more people like your son, that are, because you're right, they are going to be the ones that support the rest of us.
And there are a lot of
So, but-
retirees that are in those fields too,
Yeah.
so we need to replace them.
Exactly. Do you find while you're at the high school, do you see students going that path at all? It seems like a lot of the community colleges, and I mean some of the things I've been reading in the paper, that enrollment is down, and I just wish that people would recognize that getting those trades up would be. But do you see differences at school?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking it. I do. This past year, Carrie Weber and I are in charge of preparing students to have their interviews for vocational schools, because the way it works in southern Maine, and I believe the whole state of Maine, is that they have regional centers for vocational schools.
Mm-hmm.
In York County, there are 8 high schools that draw to Sanford Regional Vocational Center.
Oh, wow.
So if you're looking for a career like a hairdresser,
Mm-hmm.
if you're looking to get into cosmetology, if you're looking to get into welding, or even electrician, as you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
it's difficult. Mm-hmm. And there might be 17, 18 seats, but there might be 40 people applying for them. So yeah, it's difficult. The demand is there, and we're getting the word out. So more and more students are considering that pathway.
Yeah,
And it's great for a student who doesn't want to sit behind a desk.
right.
We're always going to need engineers. We're always going to need doctors, lawyers. But there's a niche, and there's a very good, rewarding career for people who are working with their hands too.
Mm-hmm. And there's a little bit of that stigma, I think, sometimes when it comes to vocational.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, those people are so important. They keep the world
Yeah.
moving.
And it is changing. So I definitely agree there still is a little bit of that stigma, but it is changing, and people are successful and they're happy.
Yeah.
And we hope it continues, because we want to have so many applicants that they're
Yeah.
going to have to build more schools.
Well, and it seems like there used to be, like I remember Biddeford used to have a very strong program. Do they
Right.
not have one anymore? Or?
Biddeford does have a program.
But it's more like auto.
Yep, they also have some other programs. Now, we have, we're very fortunate at Kennebunk High School. We use Sanford, and that is a primary location.
Okay.
Because if there are dual programs, if there's, for instance, carpentry and building trades
Yeah.
in Sanford and Biddeford, we have to use the Sanford facility.
Okay.
But if there isn't a skill at Sanford, then we can use Biddeford. And so that works out well. And we also send some students to Portland Vocational School.
Okay. Wow.
So we have the opportunity.
So you can do that. That's
do
good.
that, yeah.
Yeah. Because it seems like and hopefully that demand will, like you say, get back to where it was, and then get the schools on board to build more schools. So.
But another important point too, Mary Lou, if I may, is that with these skills, it's just career exploration. We had 3 seniors this year graduate from Kennebunk High School. All 3 of them went to vocational school, but all 3 of them are going on to college. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They may do their vocational work after, but it's not like one or the other. You don't have to choose when you're 16 years old
Right.
to do one thing for the rest of your life.
Right, right.
So that's really important.
Yeah, that is. That's good to know. And I think even that year between when you graduate from high school and like some people call it the gap year,
Right.
I think people learn so much about themselves,
They
even
do.
in just that short period of time.
They do.
And they pick a major, and then they get in there and they say, oh, what did I do?
Right.
So, but it's good that there's that exploration part of it, because I
Right.
think that's really important.
I
So,
agree.
do you feel like you influenced your children as far as becoming teachers?
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because my
Except for your son.
my older daughter was I think was always going to be a teacher,
Yeah.
but I'm really surprised that my younger daughter, I didn't really feel that she was going to go that route. Very on the introverted side, but when she gets up in that classroom, she's different.
Oh,
So-
that's
but she loves reading as well,
Yeah.
and that's a passion of hers. And
yeah.
she may end up being a librarian.
Wow. Tell her to come see us. So now, besides work and that you work really hard, there's another organization that you are part of. Can you tell us about the Toastmasters?
Oh, I would love to. This is a public speaking organization that's been around for 98 years,
Wow.
and it's often called the best kept secret. And I'm trying to make it known to people that if you have those butterflies
Yeah.
and if you have that fear, you're not alone. We all do.
Yeah.
I'm nervous right now
You
speaking
are not.
to you, but I have learned how to channel
Yeah.
those butterflies.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to work on leadership skills.
Yeah.
It's a great way to just gain that confidence. And it's an organization that I kind of use the analogy of joining a gym. Mm-hmm. But you get to work on yourself. You get to work on your communication, and you get to work on your leadership skills. And it's just a group of people,
Yeah.
not in a traditional classroom sense, but you'll have mentors, and we call them proteges.
Okay.
Because I like that better than mentee.
Yeah. 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 That sounds good.
But we work together in an educational program. It's called Pathways, by the way. And it allows the folks to give speeches. And, the audience members might be saying, why would I do that if I'm afraid of it? It's because once you give a speech and just go a little bit above your comfort
Yeah.
zone, it just feels so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It helps you maybe with a job interview. It might help you get that promotion. It might help you just in your social life. If you want to have better communication and better acknowledgement of who you are in society, Toastmasters has done that for me.
Wow.
I
that's
couldn't have
awesome.
done this
Yeah.
without Toastmasters, I think.
So how does somebody like me get in touch with your organization?
Well, that's a great question. Thank you for asking.
Because I have butterflies right now.
Those butterflies are beautiful, by the way. I think that what we do is that the best way to go about that is just go to toastmasters.org,
Okay.
and that will give you clubs that are nearest to you in your area by zip
Okay.
code. And there's numbers on there, there's emails.
Yeah.
You can even put in, I'd like more information about Toastmasters, and we'll provide that for you.
Wow, that is great.
Yeah. And the other thing about this is that there isn't a club here. I go to Portland.
Yeah.
I would really love to open up a club in York County, whether
Yeah.
it's here or Biddeford or
Yeah.
someplace else close, because I think there's a need for it. You could be 60 or you could be in your 20s. You could be in your 70s.
Yeah.
It's do you enjoy telling stories? Because that's really what we're doing. We're providing speeches based upon what you'd like to talk about.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So you have almost like a template, and then people go from there. So
We have coaching or evaluations. Experienced Toastmasters learn how to give proper evaluations where they're both helpful, but constructive and positive. So what I like about that is because if you're working on the job and if you have people working for you, you want to get the best out of them.
Right.
And one of the ways to do that is providing positive feedback.
Yeah, yeah. Which we could all learn a few of those skills. So when you talk about a Toastmaster, it's like someone, because just recently I've attended a few weddings just recently, and the person giving the toast or the person that has to get up and give that.
Yeah.
I think even that is something you wouldn't even think about,
Yeah.
like having better,
Right.
skills on, and can I do this, and
I've seen some really poor toasts at wedding receptions.
that can go on and on and on. Yeah, and that's just even just those little things of being able to get up in front of a group of people and be comfortable.
One of my projects in Toastmasters, because that's what they're called. They're called levels and projects. I did a 4-part podcast.
Oh.
So I was on your side of this.
Yeah, that's great. And where would we go to that site to learn to listen to it, or?
Yes, I could provide.
Yeah.
It was on YouTube, so I could
cool.
provide people information to that. But I called it Two Toastmasters Talking.
Okay.
And the slang term.
Yeah.
And we just talked about their experiences in Toastmasters and how it's helped them.
Yeah.
And I'm getting ready to go to a national conference in Nashville in August, the hottest possible time to go.
Yeah, I was thinking of that when you said that.
But I'm really looking forward to it because there is the World Championship of Public Speaking there.
Yeah.
Where the best speakers in the world compete. They competed all the way up, and this is at the final level.
Wow.
So it's pretty interesting.
That's really. So how do you compete for something like that? You're holding people's attention, or?
It's part of Toastmasters that you don't have to do. It's optional, but there are club contests, and then you can move up a level, and then this is like the 4th or 5th level from the club.
Oh, wow.
And you get rated by people that are experienced judges, and they're looking for vocal variety. They're looking for how well your nonverbals were. They're looking for storytelling.
Whether you do this a lot while you're speaking.
As you could probably see, I use my hands quite a bit. I used to be. But I've learned a little bit how to channel it.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's really, and hopefully we can start something in York County. That would be really interesting.
I would really, somebody from the University of New England, I could reach out to, or York County Community College. Or, even people like Joe Foster, who we were just talking about.
Yeah. We might approach him. So what do you and your family do for fun when you're not all working, and do you get together even though they're a little older?
We do. It's harder as one lives in Massachusetts, but we still get together.
Good.
And my wife is from the North Conway area, Freiburg.
Okay, yeah.
Right over the border.
Yeah.
And her mom, my mother-in-law, God bless her, 82 years old, she still owns a business.
Yeah.
And so we help out with that in the summertime.
Oh, that's great.
It's a tubing going down the river with canoes, kayaks, and tubes down the Saco River.
Fun.
And it is a lot of fun. And she is the hardest worker I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. She'll be out there and she'll outwork us all.
So you go up there and help out with that.
We help out with that.
That's really great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we do that, and we do some hiking as well. That's a lot of fun, and so that keeps us busy in the summer.
That's good. It's nice to have the summer to do those other things. So, as we wrap up our interview, you ready for some rapid fire questions? We usually just one word answer.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay. So, this time of year, it's always easy to ask this question. Favorite ice cream?
Raspberry.
Raspberry. Favorite place that you've ever been since you were in the Air Force? Maybe it involves somewhere other than here. Favorite place you've ever been?
I really enjoyed Turkey.
Turkey. Oh, wow. How long were you there?
About 2 years.
What is your least favorite color?
My least favorite
Throwing
color.
you a curve.
I would have to say brown.
Brown, okay. If someone came into school, new family came into school and said, we're really looking for something to do on the weekends. Brand new family comes to town. What would you tell them to do around here? That would be fun for them.
In the summertime or in the fall?
Doesn't matter. Yeah, anytime.
I would have to say explore Maine.
Okay.
Explore all we have to offer. Beaches, lakes. I know this is rapid fire, but there's so much to offer.
There is. And I think sometimes people sort of forget, that we do live in this, when family comes to visit, I know for myself, it's like, let's go to X. Mm-hmm. And it gives me an opportunity sometimes to go somewhere that I might not have.
We don't often visit the places that are right
Exactly.
there.
So I think that's really good advice. Visit Maine. Mm-hmm. Favorite book? Do you have a favorite book?
John Grisham.
Okay.
Almost anything from
that. Okay. What about favorite movie?
I'd still have to say The Godfather.
Godfather.
I just watched that miniseries about the making of The Godfather, which was really good. But I really enjoyed the original Godfather.
Just the first. Never. Yeah, I know. Isn't it funny how sometimes when you get to Jaws 4, Jaws 5, it's like, stop. So, do you have a vacation spot that you like to go to? Or have been, besides, Turkey being a cool place to go, but do you have a vacation spot that you all like, or?
I have to say we just got back from New York City.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I'd want to live there, but I had so much fun visiting Broadway show, Central Park, going through the Statue of Liberty, and checking out Ellis Island. We crammed it right in.
What Broadway show did you see?
Plaza Suite.
And what is that? I have not heard of that one.
That is a Neil Simon play. Mm-hmm. Wasn't a musical, but it was a play. And a real life couple, Jessica Parker and Matthew Broderick, were in it.
Ooh.
And it was phenomenal.
That is great.
We were crammed in there like sardines, and it was hot, but it was a great show.
Oh, good to know. Yeah. And Ellis Island, I have yet to visit there. I've been to New York, but that's one of my. I'm hoping this fall I can.
Yeah.
So
great time to go.
Yeah.
Great.
So,
they have cruises. They have different style cruises. Some go to Ellis Island, some don't.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful.
And food. Did you have anything fun place that you went that you could share?
We really had New York cheesecake.
I
wanted that more than anything, We didn't spend a lot of time with expensive restaurants, but the New York cheesecake was so good.
I think that's the way to do it. You just kind of look around and see, like, what is it that you're craving?
Yeah.
Because it might be pizza. It might be meatballs. It might,
Yeah.
So
and the delis there are just amazing.
Yeah.
The bagels, too. Just, so good.
And sometimes going to those high-end places, it's might be a little bit of a disappointment.
Right.
So it's
did
good
the double-decker bus tour, and that's how we went through the Central Park. It was really, really interesting.
I was a little. So I did that this spring. I was a little bit disappointed that there wasn't a live person on the bus anymore.
That's true.
But I can see why they do it, because you're just. They're doing so many.
Right.
And, but I think they have it down that they've, however the electronics work.
Yes.
We're coming up on,
I know.
This, but they know how to stop.
Right.
They figured out the technology, so that wasn't 2 miles ago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I know exactly what you're saying. But I will tell you on the cruise that we took, the tour around, to Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty, there was a real live person. And I thanked her and I tipped her well. Because great. I said, not only are you funny, but you have a lot of great information. And she just made it even better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love that human touch.
And those little nuggets, and they might not say the same
Right.
thing every time, but
Right.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. Thank you for everything that you're doing with the students and helping them succeed in not just school, but in life. It really takes special people to do that, so we really appreciate everything that you're doing for our students, our community members. So keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you.
Don't retire. Your wife told me to say that. But thank you for being with us
thank you,
tonight,
Mary
and thank you all for being with us for another episode of What's Your Story, and we will see you back here next time.